On this week's Tony and Josh show, NASA takes a cue from Hollywood in its latest sci-fi blockbuster and tells future astronauts, if we can do it, so can you. And speaking of space tech, Lockheed Martin ups the ante in the form of a space fence, and Donald Trump says Mexico will pay for it.
And you're going to shoot your eye out, or at least the government in all its glorious wisdom thinks so, and poises to take away our kids' Red Ryder BB guns. What's the difference between want and need? Well, probably about a short case and a set of handcuffs. We'll find out what this guy did to get himself locked up on the next Tony and Josh show.
Warning. The opinions, ideas, views, emotions, and temper tantrums expressed or otherwise conveyed on the Tony and Josh show may not and most likely is not suitable for all audiences and therefore should not be heard by anyone unless supervised by an appropriate nanny state. Enjoy!
Well, welcome to episode 91. If you're new to the Tony and Josh show, we're here to inform, entertain, and give you a laugh or two. We've searched the interwebs and found these earth-shaking stories to bring to you tonight.
What is the difference between want and need? Well, probably about a short case and a set of handcuffs. We'll find out what this guy did to get him locked up. Lockheed Martin steps up its game in the amazing space race. NASA takes a cue from Hollywood in its latest sci-fi blockbuster and tells future astronauts if they can do it, so can you. And you're gonna shoot your eye out, or at least that's what the government thinks, and it's all of its infinite wisdom, and poises to take away our kids' Red Ryder BB guns.
But first, we want you guys to give us a call on our SpeakPipe feature on our website at TonyandJosh.com. Tweet us during the show at Tony and Josh Show, and don't forget to include us in your other tweets with the hashtag Tony and Josh.
Oh yeah, love those communications, guys. Whether it be by voicemail, by tweet, or by email, heck, I'm sure we could probably come up with a way for you guys to send us some snail mail.
Well, you know, we always have some good voicemails, and we have a few tonight. And let's get to our first call from Nikki G.
Oh, good.
Hey, this is Nikki G, and just caught the podcast. Got a few quick comments, mainly about the guy having sex with the mailbox.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's his
Yeah,
cousin.
I'm not too fond of the price of postage constantly going up.
My
but
leggers were stuck
I
together.
think I find a better way to express my dismay. And can you imagine the intern at the police department that was all jazzed up about getting a CSI job because he sees Gary Sinise on CSI Miami, and he thinks that's a glamorous job until he has to go and scrape the goo out of the mailbox.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure about that time he regrets ever leaving Applebee's. You never mentioned what kind of mailbox it was. Was it like a little city mailbox or one of those big fat rural boxes, or God heavens forbid if it was just a mail slot in the door.
Good
Although
point.
that would probably be pretty funny. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. You have a good one. Bye.
I can tell this man has spent a lot of time waiting in line at the post office and had wandering thoughts.
Enough time to think about just how many different kinds of mailboxes can I stick this into?
Oh, yeah, baby. Number 99. I like you. And let's get over to our next Nikki G.
Hey, this is Nikki G. And holy crap on a crap cracker. I just finished the last episode of Fear the Walking Dead. I cannot believe I watched the whole damn thing. That series, it was horrible. They hardly showed any zombies. There was no action. It was just heavy drama, which was very predictable. It was just terrible. Plus, there was no Gilbert Gottfried in there.
Oh.
It was awful. I can't believe I watched it. The only good thing about it is it's over. I hope AMC learn from their mistakes and will not try this again. I imagine there's probably going to be a Fear the Walking Dead Miami or Fear the Walking Dead Tokyo or any other spinoff they can to soak the last penny out of the franchise. You guys have a winning combination. What's going on with The Walking Dead? Don't screw with it. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. Have a good one. Bye.
Fear the Walking Dead, Tokyo Drift.
Oh. And that's when I leave the planet.
So I didn't know that it was, I thought it was a series that was going to have, season after season, if it did well. I didn't realize that was, actually over. Maybe he's just saying that the first season's over. If it was just something they were showing up to the point that The Walking Dead was starting again, some executive somewhere at AMC is going, how can we get people to spend money by, through advertisers, of course, watching The Walking Dead, but not showing The Walking Dead and not showing the past shows of The Walking Dead, because that won't sell as well. What can we give them that's something that's new, that's in the Walking Dead universe, and won't actually cost us much money because we'll have a lot of no-name actors? And I think they came up with Fear the Walking Dead.
It's either that or else a dartboard. Let's throw something at the wall, and if it sticks, we'll go with it.
Let it see if it sticks. Yeah, and I think that they probably said, "What's the worst case? People won't watch it, or they'll say this is crap, and it'll just make The Walking Dead look that much better when it starts." Sad. I'm glad I made the right decision by not watching it. Well, we always appreciate the voicemails, Nikki G, and some interesting thoughts there, things that we didn't think of before. And that first one about the mailbox, I could have done without thinking about. No new reviews since September the 14th. That's almost like a month ago.
I feel so ignored and let down.
Well, we have been seeing some pretty good show download numbers. We just need to get
it's true. Yeah,
more
the
of you folks.
download numbers have increased. Our response from you guys, you guys must be considering us your dirty little secret or something. You don't want us to pop up on your phone bill or up on that bank statement or anything like that. No. I'm not listening to them. No.
You promised me you wouldn't make calls to those numbers anymore. Yeah. So I was just going to remind everyone about our last review from Dusty L. Dunn. He said, "Love the show, 5-star review. Love the show, guys, especially the stories that Dusty guy sends you. Man, he's thrown off a guy with a way too much time. Bet he drives Jeep. So anyway, you can definitely tell it's one of our Jeep listeners to our Jeep podcast as well.
Yeah, you can find that podcast over at thejeeptalkshow.com or jeeptalkshow.com. And of course, you can find all of this good stuff over at tonyandjosh.com. And that's this podcast right here. And we've got some other interesting news that's popping up in the world.
Some noteworthy news.
Noteworthy news, as we like to call it. According to the E-Bible Fellowship, which is apparently people we need to be listening to or something, I don't know. The world is supposed to be ending at some point in the next couple hours.
Oh, gee.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
And I'm doing a podcast?
Yeah. Lexus is building cars out of cardboard now. Terrorists are taking it hard as Russia and Syria join forces to double-team ISIS.
They're taking it hard, all right.
Yeah, they are. GoPro takes a hit to its pocketbook. Senator Harry Reid takes one to the face.
Yeah.
Those chips in our bank cards are supposed to be doing something by now. I don't know if mine's working or not. Jackass Steve-O is not working because he's behind bars. Again, the Coast Guard is not behind looking for people swept away by hurricanes anymore. And something, Maze Runner cast are a bunch of thieves, blah, 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 priceless artifacts, blah, blah, blah.
I have not heard about that one. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's all just Hollywood gossip, TMZ type of BS, but pretty big movie in an up and coming franchise. And I actually recently saw the sequel to that Maze Runner movie here recently, and thought it was pretty good. To come to find out, though, there might be some wrongdoing amidst going on behind the scenes on set. Don't know anything about it. Just popped up. Entertainment news seems to be taking up some big headline space. So figured it would end up in noteworthy news.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to take a moment to thank you all for taking the time to download or stream our podcast and listen to Josh and I act up and talk about random things for around 30 minutes. It means a lot if you're here, and we're here for that reason, because you're here. Just wanted to say a big hearty thank you. And Josh is going to say something, but
you're never going to get that 30 minutes back.
Josh is going to say something that begins with an F you. No, I'm sure he's very appreciative as well.
I am, guys. We definitely appreciate you guys taking the time to subscribe to us, leave us those 5-star ratings on iTunes, and of course, downloading each and every week.
Oh, and talk about being appreciative about something. We got something big coming up.
Yeah, next week. This week, technically, AMC's The Walking Dead starts this Sunday as we are recording the show, which means the Tony and Josh Show's recap returns next week as well. Mm-hmm. And we want to, for all of you Walking Dead fans, I want to give you guys one little teeny morsel of inside information that you can't get anywhere else. Look, I uncovered a recent underground interview with the one and only Daryl Dixon himself. and he discussed how the man behind the show, Greg Nicotero, plans to take things to the next level in terms of creating some rather memorable walkers you guys won't soon forget for the upcoming season 6. He let one little behind-the-scenes secret out. Check this out: that green moss will be a key to just one of the season's next level zombies.
Now, I don't know if you're a Tumblr fan or not. I don't mean the after school activities or anything. I mean
I usually put my whiskey in a
Tumblr.com.
tumbler and no.
Yeah, Tumblr.com. Anyway, there's been these pictures of this turtle that has this green moss growing over it on its back.
Oh,
it's a large turtle, and in a little pond, and it's really funny because there's been these folklore and stories from way back in time about a turtle being the earth, and the turtle walks around and you can see there's all the grass and stuff. So it was really funny seeing this large live turtle with all this grass growing on top of its shell. And when you said the green moss, it reminded me of the turtle picture that, so I wonder if somebody was scanning Tumblr and went, hey, we could put some green moss on some zombies.
Definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to next season, or I guess it would be this coming season here, starting in just a few days as we are recording this show. So you guys can be looking forward to some bonus downloads here coming up very, very soon.
Yep. Hey, Josh, I know nobody likes hearing this, but fall is well, I guess technically it's here, although here in Southeast
you wouldn't
Texas,
know it looking outside.
down here in Southeast Texas, it's not really very fall-like. But pumpkin spice will be on everybody's breath here soon, and then Christmas
here.
Yeah, and then Christmas is just around the corner, and of course there's the great Christmas show that's at least here is shown multiple times every year. A Christmas Story. Yeah, exactly.
It's a tradition almost.
And I'll divert here real quick. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. The child, I can't remember his name, that plays.
His name's Tony. He's talking right now.
the child that plays the young man that wants the Red Ryder BB gun. To me he looks a lot like Phil Donahue, and the movie has a 1950s style to it. So I told my wife one year when we were watching that Phil Donahue was really cute as a kid.
Oh boy.
And she goes,
I can only imagine the sideways look.
No, she bought it for, like about 5 seconds, but the movie was made in the 80s. So there was no way that was Phil Donahue. No. But anyway, it was fun for that 5 seconds. I'm like, really? Yeah, really. So anyway, just like, what the hell is that kid's name? Ralphie. Yeah, just like Ralphie wanted his Red Ryder BB gun. It may not be a cool thing because BB guns, court rules, the BB guns are now considered to be a firearm. The war on guns continues, and this time it's the antis that have their aim set towards BB guns. Perhaps if Ralphie had been told his Red Ryder BB gun was legally considered a firearm in some states, he wouldn't have had to be told, you'll shoot your eye out. It turns out that the spring action pellet gun, so sought after in the holiday classic A Christmas Story, is considered far more than a toy in the eyes of the law. Case in point, Minnesota, where the Court of Appeals ruled Monday to uphold the conviction of David Lee Haywood, I know that guy, for possession of a firearm. In this case, a Walther, I don't know if I said that right, CP99 compact .177 caliber BB gun. It ain't the good one, kids. So Haywood wasn't allowed to own a handgun after his 2005 felony drug conviction. So he was sent back to prison after cops found a BB gun in his glove compartment during a 2013 traffic stop. Haywood argued that the BB gun wasn't a firearm, and the Minnesota statute uses the word firearm but never defines it. So Haywood said the accepted definition of a firearm should apply: a weapon that features a projectile fired by gunpowder. That's far different than the operation of a BB gun, which uses no gunpowder to expel its shell. But the problem is it wasn't defined. So I guess the court can decide whatever they want is a firearm.
I hope that you people out there within the range of the sound of our voice right now are throwing up your fist and shaking and yelling at your stereos, your phones, whatever, just how retarded this really is. I'm beside myself with anger and and frustration over the stupidity that is our bureaucrats in this nation. I seriously, can we get any more nanny state people?
Well, it goes along really well with the kids being expelled from school because they, stick out their index finger and their thumb in kind of a gun shape. I mean, careful, you might put your eye out if you stick your finger in your eye really hard.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Exactly.
I know. I come from a background with BB guns, and I was, grown up with that stuff. I played paintball competitively for a little while. I'm into guns and projectiles.
Cool, man.
Even a slingshot. Give me a wrist rocket and a bag of rocks. I'll be a happy guy for as long as I can until I'm run out of rocks or marbles or ball bearings or whatever I can get my hands on.
Ball bearings are great. Yeah.
Really. So, I mean, what's next? Seriously, the old Dennis the Menace reference, the kid with a slingshot hanging out of his back pocket. Now he's a terrorist. Seriously? Come on. We're going to be BB guns first, then it's going to be paintball guns. And then it's going to be, seriously, if you're considered a national threat to security, if you hold up a finger and a thumb and pretend to shoot somebody, or you go pew pew.
So basically people are idiots.
Yes.
Is what it
here.
Is what it boils down to, and the liberal left, the anti-gunners, and I'm sure there are some conservative ones. Their problem is they have a phobia. They have a fear of guns, and more specifically, they have a fear of the public having guns because they think, and they're not saying this, but it's the only conclusion is that they think people are too stupid to have firearms.
Yep. So what do? Well, we protect them from themselves.
Yeah, there's guns everywhere. Everybody's protected with guns, except you and your child, because they are in gun-free zones. But that's not one of our stories. It's just a bonus rant.
Oh, man. Tony and I could seriously go on rants for hours and hours. But, if you guys have a rant that you would like for us to go on, please send in an email to info@tonyandjoshshow.com.
Well, Josh, we loved talking about what's going on in space and what NASA or really anybody's doing. If you're running a clandestine space program and you'd like to let us know about it so we can talk about
Farmer Astronaut.
We would
love that movie.
It was good. We would love to know. So just send us that information. But for right now, we're going to talk about some NASA stuff.
Yeah, NASA and Hollywood. What's the connection? Well, there's been a connection there since sci-fi movies pretty much have been around. And now the theme is, well, if Hollywood can do it, so can you. Over. That's probably not the transmission you'd expect from NASA when you're on Mars for a science mission. If you ask some people about this planet, some will tell you that humans have thoroughly wrecked Earth's environment, and now it's time for us to go move on to using another natural planet or using another planet's natural resources until that's all expended.
God, we've been here for like a million years, so that's great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, right. I grew up thinking that the moon or maybe even Mars would have an outpost by now. I figured a long time ago we would have interstellar travel and be have flying cars. Fresh off the discovery of flowing liquid water on Mars, NASA said Wednesday it wants ideas for how to best exploit the natural resources of the red planet for human survival. Methinks the brainstorming sessions at NASA recently were done via torrented movies more than by Skype and calculator. Seriously, you know how much money Matt Damon has caused this nation anyways?
Oh, God.
Oh, no, people, listen, I've done the math.
Yeah.
So, that means it's a big deal. Really. Not Saving Private Ryan, $70 million. Interstellar, $165 million. The Martian, $108 million. Total just for making the movies for saving this guy is $343 million. Now, if we were to transpose that into actual 2015 type of funds here, Saving Private Ryan, World War II Europe search party, a good $100,000 easily. Interstellar spaceship, well, yeah, that's going to cost you about $500 billion.
Oh, yeah.
And The Martian, a Mars mission, minimum $200 billion. So around $700 billion plus change to go save Matt Damon.
And he's dreamy, so he's worth every dollar.
But I digress. In situ, or in place or in position, resource utilization is key to our exploration of the universe. Robert Mueller, senior technologist at NASA's SwampWorks, which is a laboratory working on the specifics of deep space travel, said in a statement. Okay, first off, well, let's back up here. Who knew NASA had a lab dedicated to deep space travel? Yeah, okay. I'm sure we've all probably fantasized about what wonders go on behind those kinds of locked doors, but still, we have one of NASA's own basically saying, We're working on it. We must find ways to make what we need once we are at our destination, Mueller said. Martian soil could be fashioned into building blocks to create shelters, landing pads, or perhaps even roads. Martian highways. Now that would be kind of cool. NASA plans on giving away modest $10,000 and $2,500 prizes to people who can come up with potentially viable ideas for Mars resource use. Now, before you jump up with your half-cocked genius plan, the idea for mining Mars for resources, both for the use of humans and perhaps for the use on Earth, is nothing new. Aww. Yeah, I know. SpaceX notoriously wants to use methane and oxygen-powered rockets to get to Mars because it's theoretically simple to synthesize methane, easy for me to say, on Mars using its existing resources. Mm-hmm. Presumably, none of the ideas NASA is looking for would seriously change the Martian environment in the short term. But that's probably what the North Americans' first European settlers probably said as well. In all seriousness, as Mueller said, in situ resource utilization is absolutely vital if humans are going to become multi-planetary species. Mars is full of ice, minerals, and all the chemicals needed to make plastics. The fewer things we need to take on a journey to Mars, the more likely long-term colonies could potentially thrive there. I still wonder how much it's going to cost to get a Twinkie up there.
Now, I've got to mention one thing based on what you've said in this story several times. Mueller.
I wonder if that guy was
You saw that coming, right?
Seriously. No, I was thinking it in the back, and I almost went there too, but no. That guy had to have had a rough junior high.
Yeah, this is great, though. I love seeing this resurgence in going back into space, and you know, the what we see on television and what we see in the theaters is what generates a lot of imagination and support from the population of the U.S. to get out there and do it. And of course, with the worldwide communications that we have, it really generates an interest worldwide. So a lot of the countries want to be involved in this, and that means more money and more push to the politicians to spend that money so that we can go out and do these things. And you know,
this kind of has the feeling to me, and I you might be seeing things differently. Everybody's got their own perspective, but the type of stuff that I'm hearing coming out of the European Space Agency and NASA and stuff reminds me of early 1960s. We're almost right on the cusp of a Kennedy-esque type of speech of we must go back, we must go to the moon, we must go to Mars, we must go to the next planet, we must discover, we must. Mm-hmm. And this craving for information and technology and science from outer space is creating this national, this global hunger. I think that it's not going to diminish anytime soon. And I think we're going to start seeing an uprising in the private sector for space exploration and more of a conglomeration between private sector and NASA as well, coming up with ideas like this. How are we going to make Mars work for us? And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen.
Well, it may be 50 or 100 years before this would be possible, but technology is eventually going to get to the point where governments will not be necessary to do a space program. Just like
I think we're on the verge of that right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 50 to 100 years, and I only say that because I don't see anything right here, right now that is really promising as far as
SpaceX.
Well, that's all chemical based, and that's a lot of money. What you need is a power supply that puts out sufficient energy to levitate a 2 or 3 ton vehicle and able to power it for a long period of time. So we're really dismissing this power supply that is small enough that it can be carried along with the vehicle, the space vehicle in this case. It could be a planetary vehicle as well. It doesn't have to be flown in the air or in space, but given sufficient power, even at 100 miles an hour, you can still get there. And frankly, even if you were just 100 miles an hour off the planet, once you got out of Earth's gravitational field, if you had the ability to constantly push thrust,
well, that's
that
the
100 miles an hour.
That's the ion propulsion drives.
But ion won't get you off the planet cheaply.
No,
it still requires the chemical.
You're right. You still got to break the Earth's gravity, and that's where I think that I'm still waiting for the big sci-fi film type of space station. and a big launching platform that's going to be our jump off point into deep space or to a Mars destination. They've talked about space station launch points. They've talked about launch pads, jump points from the moon surface.
Yeah.
They all make sense. They're definitely viable and within our means and within our reach. It's just a matter of cost.
Well, it's cost and effort and time. And I think that what we're, like I was saying, we within the next 50 to 100 years, we probably will have a breakthrough where that will not be a requirement. We will be able to, just like we're able to jump in our Jeeps and head out off the road. We put gas in there, and because of the mechanics and the way everything's built and the things that we've done to it, it's able to go and do things that other vehicles aren't able to do because of that technology. If you could imagine a Jeep that had a power plant that you didn't have to refuel, you could, literally keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that we just need a better power supply, something that's smaller and can produce energy for a very long period of time. And then you're starting to look at stuff like doing these things on your own. Will it be dangerous? Certainly. Will there be a lot of deaths involved or unhealthy individuals because of radiation and stuff? Yes. But if you think about how the months that people from the east would travel to the west across covered wagons and stuff in that day's technology, there was all kinds of issues with them doing that.
For you, we call that childhood, but for the rest of us, I'm kidding.
Oh, that chili was really good out there on the plains. but anyway, I'm just saying that the right technological development will mean the difference between individuals doing it and governments doing it, and bring the cost way down. So look forward to that. Hopefully we both will live long enough to see that, because I think it would be extremely interesting times, and the things that sci-fi shows have been made out of.
Well, speaking of science fiction type of stuff and the stuff that really comes out of sci-fi movies, what is this that Lockheed Martin is working on?
This dovetails right in with what I was just talking about, because we all know about all the junk that's in space because of from multiple nations firing off satellites and rockets into orbit.
You and I actually had a conversation. I don't know if it was on air or off the air about how one of NASA's representatives have recently come out saying that the amount of space debris that is in our low Earth orbit has reached a, quote, critical level.
Yeah.
And if we don't do something about it here now, and I do mean here now in like the very immediate future, that trying to get off the planet in the next 2 or 3 years is going to become impossible.
Yeah, if you get too much stuff hitting other stuff and it just kind of goes wonky, you basically have this shotgun pellet effect of the debris spinning around at 17,000 miles an hour. And pretty soon you can't get anything up without that it being peppered with this debris. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so our government is looking into tracking all that stuff, because you can't really launch things if you don't know where the junk is. So Lockheed Martin just cleared a hurdle in the construction of its futuristic space fence. Now that sounds a lot more exciting than what this actually is, so I'll just tell you that right up front.
Oh.
After a rigorous 3-day demonstration of testing review, the United States Air Force has officially signed off on Lockheed Martin's revolutionary space debris surveillance system, the Space Fence. Announced September 28th via press release, the company's critical design review victory allows it to begin construction of the $914 million sensor located over 2,100 miles of southwest of Houston, of Honolulu. And what is that? Kwajalein Island? Once construction is complete, the space fence will then allow the Air Force to more accurately detect and track the millions of objects currently orbiting Earth. If you've ever taken a gander at what this debris field looks like, it's absolutely staggering. The culmination of the contract previously won by Lockheed Martin in June of 2014, the Space Fence surveillance system has been on the Department of Defense radar for some time. In light of the increasing amounts of orbiting space junk and debris, the DoD has long desired a way to distinguish what exactly exists within the near-Earth space environment. Lockheed initial proposal, an S-band phased array radar system, particularly piqued the interest of the U.S. government due to its estimated ability to track baseball-sized objects nearly 2,000 miles away.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just kind of concerned about if they're going to have to do away with baseball games, because that will just screw up the whole system, seeing all those baseballs being thrown around. That's a joke, people. With 21,000 pages of design documents, an extensive 8-day design walkthrough, and now a 3-day critical design review in the rear view for Lockheed, equipment and facility production should commence soon. Early estimates indicate the space fence to be somewhat operational by as soon as 2018, with a full-scale operation expected around 2022.
Not soon enough.
People, I'm wondering when they're going to start tracking UFOs.
Oh, they already are. Come on.
Yeah. When you get down to baseball-sized stuff 2,000 miles away, I mean, that's a long ways out in space, people.
Can you imagine how monotonous of a job that would be? Yep. Space debris KX372592.
I can just see one of the new radar operators with this phased array, hunched over watching the display and saying, "Just a bit outside."
He's got asteroids video game nightmares. The guy just can't sleep.
Josh and I love saying that, just a bit outside, and I'm surprised he didn't think of that when talked about the baseball size objects. So anyway, you have to be able to see the debris. I just thought it would be cool if we actually had a fence in space and we can keep those illegal alien immigrants out. I know, I did too.
Going to be a big, big gigantic cyclone fence, big chicken wire thing out there in space.
Chicken wire, space chickens,
huge net. Yeah, just goes up there and collects all the stuff like a big sack of Santa's toys.
I got nervous when you said sack of.
Hand hovering over the dump button. Not on this show.
Well, we need some of these little microbots, the little micro cubes that have a propulsion system, perhaps with the new power supply I was talking about.
That seek out a metallic device, have an automatic return navigation system to just head right for the sun.
Well, our actually, all you have to do is just toss it into the Earth's atmosphere and it'll burn up. So it has this little pitcher's arm. It takes it and lines it up and pitches, Tony, and the guy goes, "Just a bit outside."
Burning creates carbon, though, and we can't do that.
I'm all for it. I don't care.
Well, talking about wants and needs. Every man has got wants. We all have needs. And a man who allegedly claimed he couldn't get any loving from his girlfriend is probably also not getting any love from 911 dispatchers in Spartanburg, South Carolina either. Patrick Doggett, 53 years old, was arrested shortly after midnight Tuesday after he allegedly called 911 to complain that his girlfriend, quote, would not give him any ass. According to the police report. When officers arrived at Doggett's home, he was outside drinking what the report described as, I'll give you one guess. Wait for it. That's right, an alcoholic beverage.
Oh,
come on now.
Come on. I had no idea.
I think I was going to say Yoo-hoo. Officers said Doggett told them, in the strictest confidence because he loved those guys so much, that he had been drinking all day. Shocking. And was looking forward to having sex with his girlfriend. Doggett said his girlfriend declined because her grandchild was with her, and she had a headache, and she had to wash her hair, and the sun was in her eyes. Well, that just set Doggett off, and he did what any bald American would do when he's had been drinking all day, and that sweet thing won't give him none of that sweet thing. He called 911 to deal with the issue, according to authorities. The responding officer said Doggett yelled obscenities at the house, such as, F that B. Who needs that B anyways? And of course, who can forget the timeless classic, that B ain't nothing but a hoe, quotes the police report. Well, Doggett was arrested for public drunkenness, but not charged with misusing the 911 system, as he genuinely thought he was in an emergency situation. He has since been released from the Spartanburg County Jail and has been instructed not to have any contact with Viagra or Cialis. There were no signs that the woman was assaulted, but she refused to give a statement, according to the police report, because, as we all know, say it with me now, boys and girls, snitches get stitches.
So it was not able to get Viagra or Cialis anymore, and there was a collective sigh of women relief and it's not the one that he'd like for it to be.
Folks, just from a production standpoint here, I really, really, really wanted to get a bunch of kids saying snitches get stitches. So if you've got a young kid under the age of 10 at home, and you'd like to give them something to do, well, have them call the Tony and Josh Show and have them say snitches get stitches. I'll do something fun with the audio.
But they can't listen to the show.
No, certainly not.
So don't just tell them it's for grandma, and then tell them grandma died. So they won't be wondering. All righty. Well, not much more damage we can do.
We could do more damage, but I think that we've insulted the people's sensibilities and questioned their faith and morality just quite enough for tonight.
That's the way it should be. That's a show, and boy, it's always fun for us. We hope it's fun for you guys, and apparently it is, because you keep downloading the show. It can't be a bar bet. It can't be you being sent to, Tony. It can't be you being sent to your room to clean it up, and you go, I'm gonna listen to the Tony and Josh Show. That's a lot better than doing manual labor.
Well, I can think of worse things to be doing while you're listening to the Tony and Josh Show.
Yep, I'm just hoping they're doing it with 2 hands. So anyway,
speaking of shooting your eye out.
Aim it away.
Well, you'll go blind at least, I'm sure. Guys, you need to be heading over to the website. If you guys still have your eyesight and you haven't lost that yet, you need to head over to TonyandJosh.com. We have our entire show archive there for your guys' viewing and listening and downloading pleasure, 100% free. Of course, we would like for you guys to subscribe to our feed. Head over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio or even TuneIn, and of course, subscribe to us and leave us a 5-star review while you're there, would you?
Oh, we'd love to have some more Stitcher reviews. Always look forward to the iTunes reviews. That's the big stick in podcasting is the iTunes stuff. So, but it's fun to be seen and noticed anywhere with the time and effort that we put into this. And also, too, we're going to be putting more time and more effort next week by doing our little bonus episode of The Walking Dead review. So you'll be able to hear that sometime after the Sunday that The Walking Dead comes out. And, maybe you'll agree with what we have to say. Maybe you'll disagree with what we have to say, but we'd really love it if you
Either
call
way, we
in.
don't give a damn.
We really love it if you call in and let us know your take on the show and maybe some of the things that we missed. Maybe some of the things that we caught and you didn't catch. So,
oh yeah,
love the interaction, the audience participation.
Of course, we've completely ruined things for you, and you want to speak your mind, you, of course, can do that. We love all sorts of points of views, and, of course, those 3 a.m. drunk dialings, those are oftentimes fun, too.
They're a blessing in disguise. So don't forget to direct people to our website. Like Josh said, to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn. Love the reviews. Go to the Twitter, at Tony and Josh Show. Make sure you use your hashtag on anything that has to do with Tony and Josh Show or not. Hashtag Tony and Josh Show. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. You go into the public bathroom when you're sitting there doing nothing else, just scream out at the top of your lungs, the Tony and Josh Show! And
start
then
chanting it.
Yes.
Hey, in the meantime, send your story suggestions to info@TonyandJosh.com.
You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week. And make sure that you put it down on your calendar for the new bonus episode of season 6, right, of The Walking Dead.
All
right. Have a good night.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that. That is coming up here very soon. You guys can look for bonus downloads all about The Walking Dead. We recap the previous week's show. Make sure you guys are checking out often over at TonyandJosh.com.
It's time for Tony and Josh to recap this week's AMC's The Walking Dead.
We're back. Well, let's get into this episode. Season 6, episode 1.
Yep. What is it? First time again.
This is a very, very interesting show. I think that they came out of the box really well with the way that they did this show.
Morgan just showed up, just watched Rick shoot somebody in the head, face, or something, and I wanted to see what Morgan's reaction was going to be. And here we are. What, 6 months later again?
I don't either. I get too distracted trying to do the follow along, the live stream that they do with the episodes. I tried that once and my attention was way too split.
Well, you know what that is? That's a watch our commercials, please. Because I wish they had kept Who Hates Chris, I thought he was a good character.
Noah. Yeah, he would have been a good one to hold on to. I thought he was a good fit for the show.
I thought he was going to be there a while.
For the crew. And it was sad to see him go. But what that did is his death gave us animosity against some other characters, which we will
Nicholas.
get some relief if and when they die.
Tony and Josh. The Tony and Josh Show.